Hi, I'm Pastor Kurt, and this is your 5-minute Bible study. Today, I want us to look at Genesis 32, starting at verse 22. This is the scene of Jacob's wrestling match. Now, before we can figure out who is he wrestling and why, we need to back up a little bit. In the last video, I talked about the family of Isaac and Rebekah and Esau and Jacob. There, I talked about how Jacob, through his mother Rebekah's idea, ended up stealing his father Isaac's blessing, the blessing that was intended for the older son Esau. Well, after he steals the blessing, Esau is furious at him. So Rebekah tells Jacob, her favorite son, to flee the house, to just run away, go to her brother's house. Go to Uncle Laban's house and stay there for a while until Esau cools off, because Esau wanted to kill Jacob. He was so angry at it. So Jacob does. He goes to his Uncle Laban's house. He's there for a long time. So long that he ends up marrying two of his cousins, two of Laban's daughters. Sounds a little weird to us, but that's just how it worked back then. Well, eventually, Jacob decides to go back home. He thinks, okay, maybe enough time has passed that Esau has cooled down. This is at least 14 years later, so a lot of time has passed. But he still remembers that the last time Esau saw him, Esau wanted to kill him. That's the last image he had in his mind of his brother. So when he goes back home, he's scared. He thinks that maybe Esau still holds this grudge against him. Well, on his way back home, he has this wrestling match. And in this scene, we find out that he's wrestling God. During the wrestling match, Jacob asks whoever this is, he doesn't know it's God at first, he asks whoever this being is to bless him. But then his wrestling partner does one better and asks his name. He says Jacob, and the wrestling partner says, now you will be named Israel. Israel means one who wrestles with God, or one who struggles with God. Think about that. That is the name that all of Jacob's descendants, the Jewish people, name themselves after. The people of Israel. It's not people who are beloved by God, or people who are chosen by God, or people who are called by God. Nothing happy like that. It's people who struggle with God, people who wrestle with God. This is their ancestry. This is where their name comes from. So when Jacob gets this new name, he is named as the one who wrestles with God. This is when we find out that this is God who is his wrestling partner. But why does all of this matter when he's on his way back home to see Esau? Think of it this way. Have you ever been away from someone for a really long time, and then you finally see them again? Your last encounter was not so good. There was tension, there was fighting. Hopefully nobody wanted to kill each other, but you still didn't leave on good terms. When you're about to see each other again, you're nervous, you're scared, you're worrying. You're wrestling. You're wrestling in your own mind with this person who you think is the same as they were before. When Jacob's wrestling with God, not only is he struggling with God, he's also struggling with himself. Because he doesn't know what Esau's going to be like. He can hope for the best, but he's still thinking that Esau might kill him. When we have these internal struggles, these spiritual battles, when we feel ourselves fighting against God, we're coming up with these ideas about what we think's going to happen. And we're fighting against it. Or have you ever had this imaginary conversation with someone where you think you know how they're going to respond to you, But then when you actually do have the conversation, that's not how they respond at all. When Jacob finally met Esau, Esau threw his arms around Jacob and hugged him. He basically forgave his brother. Jacob was all worried that Esau wanted to kill him again. But so much time had passed that Jacob had changed and Esau had changed. Esau ended up forgiving his brother. This is an important thing to notice in this story. There's your 5-minute Bible study for today. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.